Hello, hello, my friends. Another dedicated candle review for you today. Shocker, we're talking about another Kringle candle. This is Kringle Candles White Pumpkin and Sage. Full disclosure before I get into this review, this candle was sent to me in PR by the brand. Huge thank you to them for doing so. As always, my thoughts are my own. Kringle is one of the best in the business about handling honest feedback. And so not only do I share that with them, but I share that with all of you as well. So let's go ahead and talk about this fragrance or this candle. I am reviewing the 3-wick 22-ounce vessel. This does retail for $31. I have to say, you guys, the packaging on this one is probably my favorite from the fall collection. I just love this aesthetic with that sage green. And I think it was a little bit of a mess up, but honestly, I kind of like it. This font is darker, I think, than they initially wanted it to be, but I'm like, hey, I'm here for it. I actually think it looks really nice. Now, you will notice that these new labels are a little bit easier to peel off, but unfortunately, I think when these were being shipped out to us, they weren't exactly smoothed out all of the way. So that is something, a little bit of nitpicking there. But hopefully, as the candles are more mass produced, they will be able to, fix that problem. I have full confidence in Kringle. They tend to be so good about addressing those types of things. I can't remember if I said this does retail for $31. It is available in a 4-wick format that retails for $45 in the single wick tins, and they should also have some wax melts to go along with this. All right, white pumpkin and sage. Let's talk about this. Fragrance notes are top notes of white pumpkin, bergamot, sage leaf. Mid notes of crushed thyme, clove leaf, and cinnamon. Base notes of agave nectar, vetiver, and basil. So if you guys have been watching some of my content recently, you guys know that when this candle came in initially, I talked about how this was actually my #1 fragrance, and that really took me by surprise. It was pretty close, you guys, with Aspen Ridge. But here's the reason why this one took the cake. First, I want to say, when I initially stuck my nose in this, I didn't really love it. I was a bit concerned because my very, very first cold sniff impression was that, ooh, I get a lot of sage in here. I was definitely smelling that herbaceous note. That was at the forefront. But as I always do when I get candles in, and I think a lot of you guys do this too, like we take an initial sniff and then you set it aside and then you go back and then you go back again and then you go back again and you keep sticking your nose in it. And the more that I went in and stuck my nose in it, I really started to detect that white pumpkin and a little bit of, it was like a very softly spiced white pumpkin. So you're going to see the notes there of cinnamon and that clove leaf in there, similar to cedar incense, where the clove leaf in there, I smell clove, but it's not like the heavy baking clove. It's definitely more of like, how would I put it? Like an herbaceous clove, if I can put it that way. It's not as heavily what would I say? Heavily, like in your face, because I know clove can be a very, gosh, what is the word that I'm looking for? Polarizing. Clove can be a very polarizing fragrance for a lot of people. I personally love it, but I don't find the clove in here to be that typical clove that you would pick up, say, in like Bath and Body Works pumpkin clove, or if you've gotten Caramel Sunday's Fall Gathering. Like those have very distinct clove notes. That's not what I'm getting here. It's definitely more of like a clove leaf, a lot more natural, toned down type of essence of clove. But again, not in that full throttle clove note. It just gives some warmth. Same with the cinnamon in here. The cinnamon is not overly spicy. I detect more cinnamon and nutmeg in the new pumpkin cashmere fragrance than I do this one. This to me, you guys, is still upon burn. And I'm going to tell you guys, this one on burn is one of those ones that really comes together beautifully. On cold, again, it can be a little bit deceptive. And that's one of the things I would say with Kringle in particular, because they tend to go a little bit outside of the box. I have learned that I need to burn their fragrances because sometimes what my nose is detecting on cold, once a flame is taken to it, oftentimes I really, really enjoy it. There are times where the opposite effect happens, right? Where a flame goes to it and I'm like, oh, I like that on cold, and now not so much. But this is one where I will say that my opinion of it only went up after I had lit it. So yeah, white pumpkin, bergamot, not really. I don't really get anything like overly fresh in here. I will say that the base notes there's a slight element of sweetness there. Again, not as sweet as, say, the sweet note that I would get in the silver eucalyptus. There's a little bit more like natural sweetness from an actual like sugar note in there. Where this one, it has sweetness, but it's more of an earthy sweetness. Vetiver, I will say, blends a little bit of earthiness. I think that that's playing nicely with the sage leaf. And then basil, I personally don't really smell basil in this candle. Basil to me is a very pungent fragrance. I like it. I actually like basil a lot. I'm actually intrigued by that mandarin basil fragrance that was in the summer reserve. But for me personally, you guys, if I'm going to burn a basil fragrance, it's usually going to be in the springtime. So that's why I'm holding off on that. But I am intrigued. But I will say that I don't really get a ton of basil in here. Basil is usually a more sharp and pungent type of herbaceous note. This sage in here, though, is definitely noticeable, but blended with the sweetness that I'm getting from, again, probably that agave nectar, a natural sweetness mixed with the creaminess of a white pumpkin, and then the soft warmth of spice coming through with that clove leaf and the cinnamon. Crushed thyme, not really so much. This is just really, really beautifully done. Again, it's another very elevated, sophisticated take on a fall fragrance. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, you guys, for me personally, you can see I've already burned this halfway through because this has been a really nice fragrance to burn in the evenings. It just, again, it kind of gives me those elevated elevated types of luxurious vibes. This is not a fragrance that I have smelled with anybody else. It just feels very high end. And yet I'm getting a beautiful burn on it. And quite frankly, the price point on this is very affordable. Like, this is a scent that I could see a brand, I don't know, just like higher end luxurious brands trying to do. Like, I could see like Voluspa or somebody trying to do a fragrance like this because, again, it's a little bit more conceptual and like boutique smelling. It's just very pretty. I think Melanie said that this smells like a candle that like a really, really wealthy woman would be burning in her home. And I'm like, yeah, I definitely get those vibes. But again, there's coziness to this. So I personally have been burning this candle most of the time in my bedroom. I mentioned in my review of silver eucalyptus, I think that silver eucalyptus paired with this white pumpkin and sage is absolutely stunning. And it does not scream fall. It just gives those cozy, sophisticated, and kind of warm vibes. And it's a perfect alternative if you are somebody who, again, just wants something outside of the proverbial um, typical, what we all expect from like fall gourmands. You want something that's a little bit elevated. I definitely recommend it. The good news, you guys, is what I'm going to say about this fragrance is I definitely say that it is probably not for everybody. So I will say it's good that they offer it in that little single wick tin so you can get an idea of what this fragrance smells like uh, prior to purchasing. Because I would say don't commit to the full size, but just be aware, you guys, if you get this one in and you smell it on cold and the first thing you smell is sage, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Light it up. I promise it definitely transforms upon burn. Okay, so as I've done with the other reviews, nice deep wax pool, nice flames going on here. I have had zero issues with the burn on this one. I have had zero burn issues, truthfully, with all three of these, or not all three, but like all of these new 3-wick candles. They're doing beautifully for me. Now, here's the thing with this fragrance, you guys. I did mention that I have been burning this in my bedroom, and it is because this fragrance is lighter in terms of strength and throw. I will say the first burn on this one was pretty low, you guys. I would say it was probably like between a 4 and a 5. And then successive burns after that, I'm going to say that this one settles around a 6. If you have a closed concept space that you're planning to burn this candle in, I think you're going to be perfectly fine with it. As I have mentioned with a couple of other candles, I think it was the cedar incense candle, as well as to some degree pumpkin cashmere. But pumpkin cashmere, I will say, has a little bit more throw than this one, in my opinion. This is probably, I would say, like this one and cedar incense are kind of along the same lines in terms of strength and throw. And also, I think in what they're designed to be. I don't think, again, that they are designed to be super, super strong, like really intense fragrances, because if they were to be, again, really strong sage, that would probably turn a lot of people off, and it would maybe ruin the harmony, I would say, of all of these fragrance notes working together. That's my personal opinion. I will say, you guys, this fragrance, I'm not sure if I will repurchase it this fall, just because you guys know, as a reviewer, I do prioritize purchasing new fragrances to have for review for all of you guys. However, if I do see this candle, particularly in the 4-wick, go on a deeper discount, I will definitely purchase this again. Or at some point, maybe like next year when I'm getting ready for next fall. This is a fragrance that I do see myself repurchasing. This one, as well as the silver eucalyptus, I definitely want to repurchase those fragrances, because I just feel like that combination together is just giving my home a vibe that I don't always smell in everybody's home. It definitely just, it's a nice change up. It's a very nice elevated change up. And that's not to poo poo on you guys. If you really enjoy the traditional fall fragrances, I'm right there with you guys. I do really enjoy that. But this has been a really nice late summer to fall transitional scent. And again, it's a great, I would say a great, my words, you guys, I've been talking so much today. It's a great option, I would say, again, for people who want something outside of the box. So I think I've made that pretty clear. As always, you guys, I do have an affiliate discount code with Kringle, Katie15. It will save you 15% off of your purchase. It is an affiliate code, eligible for commission, as are all of the codes that you can see from Kringle. So just make sure that you're aware of that if you, and only purchase if you're comfortable doing so. But let me know in the comment section down below if you've purchased this one. What are your thoughts? I would be very curious. If you like this video, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Consider subscribing to my channel if you are new. I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.